everyone. So this month we'll be going to the Wild Fowl Trust in Pointe-a Pierre. The Wild Fowl Trust is located on the Heritage Petroleum Company Limited compound, and according to the rules of Heritage Petroleum Company Limited, videography on the compound is not allowed. This virtual field trip will hence consist only of pictures. The Wild Fowl Trust is the second oldest waterfowl reserve in the world and currently occupies 32 hectares of land. There are 2 lakes which facilitate the habitation of about 40 species of trees and about 86 species of ducks and birds. Let's begin our tour at the Learning Center. As we move along the path from the car park to the Learning Center, we see a beautiful assortment of periwinkle flowers. A little bridge takes us to the building, but before we get inside, we can be sure to be greeted by a friendly blue and gold macaw. He is accompanied by a scarlet macaw, but that one is a bit more silent. The Learning Center is a wooden building which houses a museum filled with historical artifacts and educational resources about wildlife preservation. Here you can come to make arrangements with the staff to pay for a day's pass and to organize guided tours. You can also purchase books, calendars, charts, and t-shirts to support the cause of keeping the Wild Fowl Trust going. During the holiday time, you might notice some school children volunteering their service at the center as well. In the first glass case, we see a collection of seashells of varying colors, shapes, and sizes. To the left of that case, we see some well-preserved sea creatures like crabs, crayfish, lobsters, starfish, sand dollars, and even a seahorse. In one corner of the room, there are some more animals that were stuffed, cured, and preserved on display, and some ducks. Apart from the inanimate animals, there are also some live ones. The animals there are a snake and a red-eared slider turtle. They also have a larger preserved sea turtle. In another corner of the room, we see some historical relics from the indigenous people. A brief history is provided on the walls of the glass case. The case on the left is from the Trinidadian Amerindian culture, while the case on the right is from the Tobagonian Amerindian culture. Pieces of pottery and tools that were used are on display here, which are all protected and labeled. After browsing through the museum, we can step back outside and enjoy the scenery. Beautiful bright flowers, and we know that these flowers also attract bees and colorful butterflies. The tour began just down the hill from the Learning Center. Little tiles were located all around the Wild Fowl Trust, pointing out several birds and flowers that could be found. A boardwalk around half of the tour was made possible by First Citizens Bank to facilitate the differently abled. Little educational tidbits are also posted throughout the tour for tourists to read and learn. They cover topics such as climate change, food webs, and even a bit of history. The tour this day was led by Miss Daniela, one of the trust educators. All around the lake, little green boats can be seen. However, these are for the workers to take care of things in the lake, such as feeding fishes and taking care of birdhouses. You can also see bird feeders made out of bamboo. In these feeders, the caretakers fill a mixture of bread and water so that the waterfowl can eat. The first tree we come across is the Pride of India, also known as the Queen of Flowers. The next tree we see is the calabash tree, which some people claim that the fruit is edible. In Trinidad, however, we know the fruit to have more uses, such as making bowls, decoration, and shakshaks or maracas. The fruit is carved while it is green and then put to dry. Under the boardwalk, we see a dried calabash. We also come across a mami apple tree, or as we call it in Trinidad, mami sipot. The butterfruit tree was also seen along the way. This tree has its origins in India. Another tree we see throughout the trust is the Barbados Pride flower, which comes in different colors. The flamboyant tree was another wonder that had a story to go with it. Miss Daniela mentioned that it was believed that this tree was present at the time of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Some of the blood of Jesus was supposedly splashed onto the tree, which made the colors of the flowers bright red. One local exotic fruit tree we have is kaimet. At the time, there were none on the tree, but this is what the tree looks like. Kaimet is a purple or green fruit that has a black seed. The flesh is similar in color to the outside and can make your mouth sticky after eating it. One of the most frequently seen birds at the trust is the black-bellied whistling tree duck. Another waterfowl we see is the wild Muscovy ducks. Wild Muscovy ducks are a protected species, hence it is illegal to keep them or hunt them. Purebred wild Muscovy ducklings have a distinct pattern of 4 dots on their back and a black stripe on their heads. Trivia: what is the difference between a duck and a bird? In Trinidad and Tobago, we do not have crocodiles or alligators. We have caimans. An injured caiman who had lost its tail in the pond is housed in an enclosure. Without its tail, the caiman would not be able to swim and would most likely die, so it needed to be taken care of by the caretakers of the place. On the other side from the caiman enclosure, we see another enclosure filled with macaws. The Wild Fowl Trust does a breed and release program where they would breed some species and then release the adults. The younger ones are kept, keeping the breeding cycle running so that one day they could be released in the wild as well. The animals are tagged before they are released. Perhaps you've seen 1 or 2 macaws from the Wild Fowl Trust flying around in your area. Trivia: what is the difference between a macaw and a parrot? In the lake, there are also many species of flora and fauna. One such species is the lotus lily flower, which is said to have several uses. All of the parts of the plant can be used to either eat, as medicine, as decoration, or even as an eating plate or bowl. The leaves can be cooked as well as it can be used to serve food on. In Guyana, this is common. This does not absorb water, so it can even be used as an umbrella. Apart from these uses, it's just simply beautiful, don't you think? If you are able to go close to the water, you may see schools of guppies swimming about. Bird boxes were built in the water, since some birds prefer to nest like this, just above the water. Bamboo is another common plant found in the trust. There are several species of bamboo that exist. Bamboo also has many uses. For example, the shoots can be eaten. The wood can be used to make utensils like spoons, spatulas, and other things. And it can also be used to make instruments like flutes. Little benched areas are conveniently placed around the trail for resting. We were fortunate. This time our wonderful tour guide took us down the Devil's Ear Trail, which is usually an unguided trail. The water from the first pond runs to a second lake, which is at the center of this trail. A wild Muscovy duck directed us to the destination. A few caimans lurked through the waters of the second lake. Their eyes surfaced the water. Finally, as we reached our destination, our tour guide narrated the story of how the Devil's Ear tree got its name. According to the legend, as the Amerindians walked through the jungles, the pods of the tree used to drop from the tree and fall on their heads. Then they deemed the pods as the devil. Later, when researchers were studying the tree with the help of the indigenous people, they found the pods to be shaped like ears. Hence the name the Devil's Ear was derived. Apart from this trail, there are two more trails that can be explored unguided. They are Forest Walk and Fairy Woods Trail. Perhaps we can go on these trails another time. Splash! Something suddenly fell into the water. An iguana fell out of the tree and went straight into the water. He stood on a branch sticking out of the water for a while before making a dive into the water. I did not know iguanas could swim. Perhaps beauty is not just about looks. The butterfly ginger flower is a white flower, but what makes it attractive to bees, butterflies, and other pollinators is its enchanting scent. Doesn't it look like a white butterfly though? The next enclosure we visited was one filled with red, scarlet red to be specific. Yes, it was none other than our national bird, the scarlet ibis. The scarlet ibis birds are born brownish-grayish in color. Their bright red color comes from the carotenoid, which is obtained from the shrimp and other shellfish that they eat. Apart from this, the scarlet ibis, there are two other types of ibis, the glossy ibis and the white ibis. The scarlet ibis is just one of the national birds of Trinidad and Tobago. Our tour was concluded with a fruit called fat pork. Well, I can't say for sure, but I don't think that pork tastes like that. The fruit had a spongy texture and tasted like nothing. So, I hope you enjoyed this journey through the Wild Fowl Trust. You can look out for more fun virtual tours by clicking the subscribe button and then hitting the bell icon. Make sure to hit the like button as well on your way out. Until our next adventure, take care.